And we are live with Paul Turner. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Luke. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. One thing I really appreciate about you is that you have a lot of things going on at once,
Hmm.
uh, which I can appreciate. Your intellectual curiosity is phenomenal. I mean, you're out there getting after it. Um, would you mind highlighting a few of the things that you're working on? I know there are a lot, including a French horn and some other stuff. But if you could highlight a few things, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me here. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah, I am involved in a few things, and I'm always curious to learn. I think my epitaph and headstone may just have learner. But before that time happens, I'm going to be the energizer because that's what I
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like to get plugged into different things and take advantage of it while also helping the organizations I participate with.
yeah.
Um, so a few of those is Warrior Rising, a veteran organization focused on nonprofits attempts. No, it's a nonprofit focused on helping veterans become small business owners, and really enjoy doing that.
Yeah,
Meeting a
good.
lot of great people with a lot of great ideas, and just seeing them evolve to someone who's leading their space is a fantastic. Um, give a shout out to Peter and Josh, some of your other speakers.
Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
do a lot of things I do with Warrior Rising. Of course, working with Jason Van Camp, it's fantastic. Joe Hilton, Ken Venera, you of course is one of the things that we all do with Warrior Rising, so it's good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that's my role. I work as the Warrior Academy director for Warrior Rising. Also, I'm student success manager for New Camp Cooking Boot Camp. Fantastic organization. That's really where my startup experience comes from.
Yeah.
I was one of the first 5 students in our Tacoma class. The founder of New Camp, Ludo Farage, needed someone to reach out to the veterans, and so I said, "Hey, I'll do it." And
Hmm.
along the way, I picked up some skills and programming, software development, and I think this morning, I think we had 1,000 students in 100 classes. Um,
Wow.
so it's exponential growth. And
Yeah.
so I've been there from day one, just helping out however I can, getting plugged in. So I'm not the
Yeah.
founder, but I think I've tried to contribute where I can. And
Yeah.
so I like that experience, learning everything you can do.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things about startup life is throwing spaghetti to the ceiling and seeing what sticks. And then that's how
Yeah.
you make up your recipe. What else do I do? We Rising, you can't. I work for the federal government, which I'm not going to name the agency because I don't want to
Yeah.
be bothered with all the questions about those particular elements. But it's not Men in Black, so don't worry about that. I'm going to phase you into this conversation.
Yeah.
Working on my bachelor's degree in computer science, which is my 6th college degree. Working my
Mhm.
doctorate in education, and halfway through my bachelor's degree in computer science. So I'm just trying to do everything I can just to learn and make use of the knowledge and skills.
Yeah.
Me and Luke work, full disclaimer, full disclosure, at Squiddy. So
Yeah.
Squiddy, I'm the CIO, Chief
Yeah.
Information Officer.
Yeah.
Um, I was trying to find a cool way of saying it, but CIO is the way to say it, and it defeats my Louisiana vernacular, so I have to pronounce all the syllables and vowels and get associated with it.
Yeah.
uh, but enjoy that too. Yeah, I think we're meeting a strong demand for businesses to succeed.
Yeah.
Um, so being a small business owner is more than just saying I'm here for my customers, and there's a lot of work involved, and setting
Hmm.
expectations right, but then also helping people learn from others' mistakes. I mean, I think there's some Confucius saying out there about wisdom comes from learning from others' mistakes. So we're here to help with Squiddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, if you hear 2 kids in the background, I'm also 40 with kids under the age of 2. So I'm doing everything back.
And yeah, you do have a lot going on. Yeah, I've certainly enjoyed our time working together, Warrior Rising. I've been really privileged to have the experience to work with you and the team there, and to work with veterans to help mentor them on getting their businesses is up and running. That's been phenomenal. Um, you reached out to me about what I had going on early on, and we weren't exactly sure what it would look like, but eventually we figured it out. And your acumen related to data science and curiosity and communication made it really obvious that you should come on and help with Squiddy. So I'm obviously glad to have you there, because need the help, and you're definitely an asset. So Squiddy, that's I think I've only mentioned Squiddy twice the whole day, and that's
Wow.
except for the hat, which I don't even know if
Right.
anybody.
You
Yeah. So one thing that you've done, which I think is really interesting, and I would encourage other people to do this, and I'd love to hear your experience with it, is that you get yourself, and this is a positive thing, you get yourself involved with interesting things.
hmm
You seek out interesting things without knowing exactly what it's going to look like. You
Right.
seek it out and participate and learn, and you know that you'll just kind of figure that out. So I'd love to hear like how and why, and how you like what went into that being your mentality, and what is that meant for you?
Well, I haven't always been in this state of mind, but I kind of grew up in a boring life. Being in the Navy for like 14 years is always constrained about what you can and can't do. And, while I love the military, I didn't really like the strict culture. I like to learn and, do my own thing, which is why the entrepreneur life, really speaks to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like to get involved in different things because I'm confident in the outcome. I know if I get into the formula, that there's going to be a successful result. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got that confidence. And so I don't mind getting into different things at different states. So beginning, middle, or in full swing. It's if I find something that's appealing to me, I'll get involved with it and help out whatever state I can, and
Yeah.
just grow whatever participation I have. So because for me, it's not really about the money at the end of it either.
Mm-hmm.
The experience is what really I gravitate to, because we only live like one life. So,
Right.
uh, you know, I'm not the type of person who's going to spend 40 years in one career path and at the end of it, be walked out the door of the company and not have anything else to do.
Right.
Find me in different things, different capacities, because I don't want to ever be retired.
Yeah.
Uh, but and the opposite, of that is I don't want to be too stretched either. So I do make some consideration of how much I can be spread apart, because I also find that, quality is more important than quantity.
Yeah. 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 So you've been working with um, vetrepreneurs, which that's the warriorizing term for veteran entrepreneurs, to make sure everybody knows that. So you've been working with vetrepreneurs and startups for a while now. What are some of the common things that you find yourself repeating to vetrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in general? Like, these are things that are important. Like, what are the things that you see as common threads that you have to coach people about and coach people on?
Yeah, well, we live in a day and age where everyone has a computer, and I'm still surprised that companies don't think that they're not a software company. Like, no matter how you do it, you're a software company. Like, you
Mm,
can't see just making a product and selling it on the street corner. Even a hot dog stand has to get a marketer somewhere, and that's going to
mhm.
require technology. You have to at very least have a Facebook page so you can get people involved outside your block.
Yeah.
So um, some of the things I really think people aren't aware of, and some of the common questions I answer is, yes, you have to know technology, you have to know software, you have to know what Shopify is if you're going to have a retail business. You got to
Mhm,
know these things. Don't be intimidated, and certainly don't outsource some of those things that you can easily learn.
mhm.
So technology is prevalent, and so therefore every company is a software company in some sense.
Yeah.
Uh, some of the other things that I kind of frequently address is work. You know, Tesla didn't come about overnight. Elon Musk, was sleeping in the factory for many, many months,
Yeah.
years, maybe decades. Like, I don't know how long he's made Tesla a publicly known entity. maybe like a secret factory somewhere, but it's not overnight success. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But then I think just the other part that people aren't aware of, it's just having the confidence, like if you can see your success, even though no one else can, you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
And, if you see your success, like if that's in your view, if it's in your front vision, not your peripheral, but if it's in your vision,
Hmm.
you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think
Yeah.
those three things, the respect for software, the confidence to succeed, and just appreciation of work are the common things I frequently address.
Yeah. It's really good. The software point, I think, in particular, um, the barrier to entry to get something out there. I've talked about this a few times today, and generally, I talk about this, that the barrier to entry is so low for getting something out to the world. And I'll use this ridiculous podcast thing as an example. On Tuesday, I had the idea. Between Tuesday and Friday, created a logo, created a name, registered a domain, built a website, set up a YouTube channel, set up a Facebook page, set up a LinkedIn company page, set up a streaming account, set up a Zoom account, set up an Anchor account, so that now I can stream these things, put the content out later, and put them out on a new brand.
Right.
All from Tuesday midday to Friday. And then put out a product where I recruited 30 people to come hang out and talk with me.
So
there's no barrier to entry.
No.
Like for $30. Now, here's the other thing. If this were the business, and if I wanted to go monetize this thing, I could. I could monetize YouTube. I could monetize Anchor. I could monetize other places. I could use this as a vehicle to sell services, but that's not the point. The point is that there's such a low barrier to entry. Just go out and put your thing to the world. You don't have to know how to do a lot of things. You have to be aware of the resources that exist.
All right. Completely agree with you. And as I mentioned, software, hard work, and confidence were the things I frequently address for people who aren't breaking the barrier to success. And just this week, you validated that's what you need to succeed, right? I mean, my presence here is proof that you're knowledgeable about software, you appreciate hard work, and you're confident in the success of what you're going to be involved with. So this live broadcast just speaks to the validity of the thing I just mentioned.
Yeah. So what do you see? I mean, you're involved in a lot of startups. What are some of the trends that you're seeing right now that you're particularly excited about, or at least interested in? What are some things happening that you're really paying close attention to?
Well, it's interesting you say that. It's my good fortune to be with Warrior Rising. I don't get paid for any of that, but I get to meet really cool people. And in a roundabout way of answering your question, the things that I see that are trending are the things that really excite me, the things that really stand out in these conversations with future business owners. Like people who see the value of drones, really stands out in my mind. Like them or love them, hate them, whatever your particular position is toward them, they're the future of small businesses' ability to succeed. So, having security done by drones, be able to use cameras and survey different land topicals. If you're looking in geology, if you're looking in forestry, oil and gas exploration, I'm sure there's a way you can utilize a drone to kind of see if there's any deposits of minerals. I mean, fantastic opportunity there. Law enforcement. I mean, so that is one. I think the future is also appreciative of folks who see, as I said, software, but software in a greater capacity. I think that some of the examples are a guy who's creating an aerospace company, leaning upon software. So hopefully I haven't deviated too far from the original question, but
that's good. That's
the appreciation of, I guess aerospace and software really excite me because the sky is the limit, and you look at Elon Musk, SpaceX, throwing like 4,000 satellites in the air to eventually have a 40,000 satellite space constellation so they can have a universal internet access. I mean, some of the
Jeez.
stuff probably verges on the Book of Revelations, for people
Yeah.
to think that extreme, but in
Yeah.
practicality, um, he- he's taking it to different levels. I mean, having
Yeah.
the ability to have internet in just some parts of Washington State is a miracle. In years, it will have ability to connect, just as if
Yeah.
you're sitting next to a major server or
Yeah. Amazing. I want to talk about data. You're a data scientist. You've got an appreciation for data. At what stage, when somebody's thinking about their startup and kind of becoming a business, when should they start thinking about data, and what are some common things people should start thinking about in terms of data early on?
Yeah, good question there too. So data is now a more valuable commodity than oil. And one of the premises of data science is that everyone's got a personal electronic device that collects data. Your cell
Hmm.
phone does more than just call somebody. You've got, I don't know, maybe 20 plus different mechanisms that are being tracked, the position of the phone, where the phone's nearest to in terms of cell phone towers. I mean, there's just so much involved with this, all being tracked for good or bad purposes. But a lot of these things are just fantastically tracked. I mean, we're creating more information today on a daily basis than it took thousands of years to do. And so there's some
Yeah.
there that actually explains that in more a quantitative way. But um,
Yeah.
so I think data is super important. So I think for a business owner, especially, you have to think about it.
Yeah.
Amazon's a great example of the use of data because they leverage it effectively in a voluminous way. So,
Yeah.
um, I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and their individual profit margin is way less than most companies. So, how do
Yeah.
they accomplish all that? How do you see all these gray vans up and down the street these days, replacing the USPS the old trucks? I mean,
Hmm.
and you just think about how cheap it is to order something. Like, how is that possible? It's all because of
Right. Yeah.
um, so Amazon's focus on AWS completely supports a retail business because it's an appreciation of data. So I think if
Yeah.
you think in terms of like how do I benefit from that from starting up, you have to think about your product from a data point, like because you
Yeah.
are going to make your sell on volume.
Hmm.
One of the days where you could have 100% profit margin on your product. I mean, so you're not going to make a killing from like
Right.
one customer. I mean, you're going to have to sell to multiple customers.
Yeah.
Um, so you have to find a price point and then discover how to maximize it, but then ultimately figure out how to sell voluminously.
Hmm.
Um, and then once you do that, you can capture the data and make advantage of it. So,
Yeah.
uh, so I think in terms of steps, think about data, think about data analysis. So you take the data that you received and you just try to find ways to take advantage of the immediate value of it. Like you see this product selling more,
Hmm.
then you could try to forecast through data science, like how much more can you charge
Right.
per unit of item.
Yeah.
And from there, you can really make some really forecastive decisions. And really, that's really what data science is going to is being able to see the future with the present data that you have.
Yeah. That's yeah, really good. I one of the reasons that you came on board Squiddy was that I know that data is going to be a really big piece of what we do, and looking at correlation data between, like, what are the attributes of a contributor and founder, and what later becomes success, and how do we match those things together to help mitigate risk. There are a lot of things, but our company is a bigger data play than the smaller companies that we see typically with Warrior Rising. What are some ways that small companies, early companies, can look at data as part of their business plan and their model to help them make data-driven decisions? Like, what are some of those key data points that they should be thinking about, or building metrics around?
I mean, that, at least to my simple mind, is what really sets companies apart. I mean, so you have to have a baseline of like your product, knowing everything there is about your product,
Mhm.
having it all standardized. That way, you're not going back to change the data measurements or units of measurement or anything else. Because, the hardest part about data science is make sure all the data is consistently assigned, having a weight in kilograms and a weight in pounds. Once you get like 1,000 of those different data points, it's very confusing because obviously those are very different. So you're going to get the wrong answers or the wrong decisions if you don't try to correct those things. So
Yeah.
Every business should, carefully identify the products and services they sell. But I think you could probably have some visual where you have the product identified and then
Mhm.
just brainstorm every single quantitative measurement you could assign to that. I mean, color of the box,
Yeah.
size of the box,
Yeah.
the weight of the box. I mean, every single thing you can, and the products and the services associated with it. Because all those things matter, and you should never underestimate the value of that. So I guess a long saying is every company should start off with a really aggressive focus on knowing everything about what they're producing or providing.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. Hard to believe, but we're at 20 minutes already. So I want to give you the floor to talk about lessons learned, tips, whatever's on your mind that you want to talk about. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. So we've talked about a lot of different things. And I really appreciate, working with you in all different capacities that we do work together. I think one of the things that your audience, at least from my perspective, will be interested in is also execution. I think, and I've mentioned it before, but confidence to succeed is everything. So it's not worth the effort to start something if you're not going to execute. Like starting a business is much different than starting a business and operating the business, So, and I think that's where a lot of the businesses fail because they're not willing to execute. So it's a loss of time, which is, in my mind, the most valuable commodity of all. Obviously, data falls behind it.
Yeah.
Wasn't really prepared for this type of response.
That's good, man. Oh, I appreciate it. It's just a conversation. So thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate everything you've done, everything you're doing, everything you will do. I think there are a lot of things to learn from how you operate, and I appreciate you coming in and talking about some of those things with me today. So thank you very much. We'll chat soon, right?
Absolutely. I think we have a call scheduled for another business matter tomorrow, in fact.
I think so. Awesome, sir. I'll chat with you soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you and have a good evening.